Losing Rodri at this very early stage of the season is a big blow for Manchester City, and Manchester City are now involved in 5 competitions this season. And one thing I know for sure, nothing will distract Pep Guardiola from his main target, that's winning the Premier League. He has done this before and he's going to be doing it again this season. If you remember last season, KDB was not available for Manchester City for 5 months. Haaland was not available for 3 months, all because of the injury. And that's a clear evidence that Pep Guardiola will survive again without Rodri in the team. I'm not saying Rodri is not a good player for Manchester City or his injury will not be costing Manchester City. We know the player he has been for this team. And when you talk about Manchester City's midfield, then you're talking about Rodri. He is actually the backbone and the engine of the Manchester City's midfield. And now that the player will be out for a certain period of time, of which we are not even sure the amount of time that Rodri will be out, that means Pep Guardiola has to find a way of fixing his midfield. The gap that Rodri is leaving is a gap that no player will be fixing. Rodri is a replaceable player. Manchester City have really good players in their team, of which fixing the problem or the position that Rodri has been playing in the midfield will not be a problem. But doing exactly what Rodri could have done it, or exactly what Rodri has been doing in the team, it will not be possible. And the only way that Pep Guardiola will be doing this is bringing a new player in the midfield and fixing the problem in a totally different way. And the plan A for Pep Guardiola, of course, is KAVOCIC, a player we've seen him again perform really well at Manchester City after he was almost leaving football at Chelsea. If you compare his performance at Manchester City, he is actually an experienced player and he knows exactly what is supposed to be done in the midfield. And now that he is a plan A for Pep Guardiola, will he fit into Rodri's shoe or is going to be doing in a different way? Of course, in a different way. The main thing now is to fix the problem. Again, don't forget that Manchester City went back to Barcelona and bring back their very best player, a guy Gundogan, into the team. Now tell me, how do you think Manchester City will not be fixing the problem in the midfield, yet they have really good players in the team? If you look at Manchester City players, I think Manchester City is the only team in the Premier League who has really good players. I mean, be 24, 25, but they're all good. And fixing the problem with the position that now Rodri is leaving in the midfield, it will not be an easy thing for Manchester City to fix, because we know the impact that Rodri has always been having in this team. We know the role he has been playing. It will be a math to be solved, but I have no doubts Pep Guardiola will be doing it. He's going to be maximizing his players' talents and make sure the problem is perfectly solved and make sure their midfield is in a certain position. It can lead them to win the Premier League again. We know right now KDB is out because of the injury, but with no time, the player will be back into the team, which means Manchester City's team is still good and they can actually win the Premier League title. We have no doubt Manchester City have really good players in the team. Manchester City is one of these teams in the Premier League. They do sign players because they need the player in the team. They don't sign player because it is a transfer season and we should be signing someone. A good example is this young talented player, Savinha. The way he's playing together with KDB, you might think he has been in the Premier League forever. Again, Manchester City going back and re-signing Gundogan into the team. That shows exactly how Manchester City are careful when it comes to signing players into the team. They are not signing players because they have some money and they should be signing players into the team. No, they are signing players because they need the player in the team and they exactly know the role the player will be playing. Gundogan can play in the midfield, Stones can play in the midfield, KAVOCIC can play in the midfield, and also young talented Lewis can play in the midfield. We know these are different players, but it is now how to fix the problem. The main thing now is to fix the problem or the position that Rodri has left in the midfield. It will be a different way of play, but a way that can bring Manchester City's midfield back together again for them to go and fight for the titles. Let us know what you think about Manchester City losing Rodri at the comment section down below. Do you think they're going to be winning the Premier League title this season, or you think it is over for Manchester City? For me, I can say if Jurgen Klopp was still at Liverpool, then we'll be talking a totally different story. But since he is nowhere to be found in the Premier League, Pep Guardiola is going to be taking the Premier League title this season again for the 5th time. Like this video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't, because what are you doing with your life? Subscribe to our channel. We'll see you on our next one. Till then, stay safe.